Welcome to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Amos Vagg about pentathlon. Amos started in pentathlon about 2017, and that's how we found him practicing. Welcome to Forest.chat, Amos.
Thank you for having me, Paul. I'm glad to be here.
Great to have you here, Amos. Now, Amos, pentathlons. What on earth is a pentathlon?
Well, it's 5 sports designed to showcase the best athlete. That was what the Olympic founder Pierre de Coubertin designed it for, was to showcase the best athlete. It's 5 sports, starting with your swimming, which is 200 meters as fast as you can, fencing, épée, you want to hit your opponent before they hit you, and obstacle course racing, which is swinging around like a ninja over all kinds of obstacles, and finally our laser run, which is 600 meters run and then shoot and then repeat several times.
So with its Olympic background, I guess, and if the founder of the Olympics, when was he around? That was back in the 18-somethings, was it?
Yeah, early 1900s, late 1800s, yes.
Yeah, so it's a long time ago. So it's built in a different world to what we have now. So 200 metres swim in the pool. I think most people would be able to get their head around that. And what was the next one?
The next one was the fencing is probably the next one, which is the épée. So each opponent has a sword, which is actually just a stick of metal with an electric button at the end. And you've just got to hit your opponent with about 500 grams of force. As soon as that force is there, you get the point. If you double it, it doesn't count, reset, because obviously if there's 2 people hitting at the same time, they're both dead, you both lose, right? So you want to be the one person to get a clear hit.
Okay, so it's got to be a clear hit, and the half a kilo of force that must be worked into the button itself or
exactly.
something, is
There's
it?
just little springs there, and it's pretty much simulating if you got hit with half a kilo of force, that tiny hit would be enough to penetrate your skin. That's going to hurt. That's why that's your set weight.
Yeah, I reckon it would hurt. So do you get dressed up in the full garb for that?
Yeah, so we've got these very nice white jackets that are designed to protect you, so there's no situation that you actually get hurt when you're fencing, because they're actually blunt nowadays and all electronic, and yeah, you've got your padding to keep you nice and safe.
And then I've seen people with those mesh face masks.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
masks and the gloves and all those things, again, just for safety, and yeah, looks very fancy too.
So how do they determine the leader with that? Do you get a point for each?
Yeah, so you fence every single other person in the competition. So usually there's about 70 people in the World Championships that are like sort of qualified. Once you've fenced each person, 1 hit only. Whoever gets that hit, move on to the next bout. So it's very fast, very much, you have to get that hit or you go home kind of thing. And then whoever gets the most victories gets the most points. As you go down, fewer victories is fewer points.
Okay, so simple count. And that's it. That's the comp.
That's the fencing part of the comp. I mean, they've changed the format now. They now have a direct elimination, which is more like normal fencing, where based on your results in the first round, you'll get first, the person who won the comp goes against last, second against second last, and you'll go elimination. You get the top 2 and get points based on that. So that's how it'll be for the next Olympics in LA. But that's only been introduced this year, and I still haven't actually done a comp like that yet, so I'm excited to try it out.
So different, change. I always want to change things up.
Pentathlon's been very much since the inception constantly changing. It started off with show jumping. That's my main background. I used to be a show jumper for Victoria, and now I'm doing the obstacle course racing instead. And yeah, throughout the whole inception, we've gone from air pistol to laser pistols. We've gone from longer distances to shorter distance, changed the number of laps. It's just a constantly evolving sport to try and mimic, what's best and most interesting in the modern era, but also still showcasing the skills of the best athletes who can do, I guess, the skills of like a military personnel member.
I can see that military basis or background coming through, because you've got to be good at everything, don't you?
Swim across a river, defend yourself with a sword and a pistol, be able to ride or run, or in this case now get over obstacles.
So we've had a bit of chat about the fencing, and then after the fencing you get...
That would be the obstacle course racing now. Right. So that's, if any, you've seen the show Ninja Warrior, that's those sort of obstacles that you're very challenging to do. It's probably a bit more watered down than that. It's more like you've got a wall that might be 1.5 meters, 2 meters tall that you've got to climb over. You've got some monkey bars that, are fairly spread out, but you can swing yourself between them. Some different wheels that spin around and you've got to swing yourself between, and some random steps that you jump across, and yeah, all kinds of little challenges just to test that, you've got your balance, your coordination, your athleticism, your upper body strength, all those skills, and you try and get through it as fast as possible. It's very short, it's 100 meters, about 20 seconds or so for the good people to do it. I'm still getting the hang of it, so it takes me a good 30 seconds now, but I'm getting there slowly.
That's not a very long competition, but obviously takes quite a bit of effort because of the using your upper body and jumping and your coordination.
Absolutely. And also the strategizing is a lot more, it's very similar to fencing in the sense you have to think about the best way of doing it, not just do the action, because anyone can go through a set of monkey bars, but to do it quickly, to get your body to do it the most efficient way and to get your mind so you figure out how much risk you want to take to go that bit faster. It's a very interesting thing to try and strategize and do.
Yeah, and watching others would be super important, I'd imagine.
Yeah, especially if you're seated low, which I tend to be for the obstacles, you'll go a bit earlier, so you don't have as much opportunity. But yeah, the higher seed people, the people who go faster, they definitely watch to see what everyone else is doing and see what sort of risks are worth taking.
Yeah, because I've seen it work and seen it not work, right?
Exactly.
And after the obstacle race, you get...
That goes to our final one, which is the combined run-shoot phase. So that's in my opinion, the most exciting phase. You're running 600 meters. You come to your target, you've got to calm your breathing down, pick up your pistol, and you've got to hit the bullseye 5 times. So you've just got to get those shots off as quickly as possible. Again, you want to be pretty much spending less than 10 seconds at the range. I mean, they're getting close to less than 5 at the top level now. So it's very much shoot at least 1 shot per second and hit the target every time is your goal. As soon as you get those 5 screens, you go run again, come back in, shoot, run, shoot. You get 4 rounds of shooting, 5 rounds of running. So about 3 kilometers total. But again, getting that stopping, resetting in between.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive. And that's how we met, actually, because you were packing up your target
Yeah,
gear,
my laser target
it?
and pistol, yeah. I was always trained for that at my park runs and all over the place, wherever I can. It's just get out there and get more shots under your belt, because it's not like proper pistol shooting where you really need to reset yourself and really be precise. You just need to be able to be consistent under all conditions, because sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes there's lots of pressure under you. You have to be able to get that shot every time. So just getting hundreds of shots on your belt is kind of the best way to train.
Yeah, repetition, but ideally perfect repetition, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
And that system is a laser system?
Yeah, so it's a laser emitter, I think it's a class 1 laser, so it's very low intensity. You could, less than your average commercial laser pointer, and it's just a target which actually has a camera behind it, detects light of that wavelength, and then when it detects that, that's your shot.
That element's pretty straightforward. How big's the target?
I think it's about sort of 14 millimeters across, so not massive but not tiny either, especially when you're shooting from 10 meters away.
When you took 5 seconds to get those shots off, it's achievable if you've had the practice.
Exactly, yeah. And it takes a bit to get that practice. I know some people will take months to be able to consistently hit the target, but once you've got that, it's fairly doable. I probably hit about 80%. I really am aiming to get up to 90%, so I've got a bit of work to do, but It's still enough.
And the less efficient you are just means you need more shots to get the hits to...
Exactly. If you're shooting 6 shots and it takes you 1.5 seconds a shot versus 7 shots at 2 seconds a shot, or 1 second a shot, then it's a difference of balancing how fast versus how accurate.
So Amos, what does it take you to be a pentathlete?
A lot of training and a lot of balancing my training. The main thing, honestly, the main skill as a pentathlete I've got is time management, because that's just constantly, I'm trying to make sure that physically and mentally I can keep training for 5 sports at the same time to the edge of an elite level. Yeah, so that's the main thing.
And when you say an elite level, what are you aiming at with your training?
So pretty much I want to be, the goal times overall are about a 2-minute 200-meter swim, about a 9-minute 3K run, and about, I pretty much want to be able to shoot in 5 shots every time in less than 8 seconds. And obstacle course racing, I haven't really established what the ultimate goal is because they keep changing the course yet, but I'm thinking about 25 seconds is what I want to be hitting. So that's pretty much the key things. And fencing, it's kind of hard to quantify how you go, but obviously just working to improve. I want to be the top half of the field at a minimum.
Yeah, otherwise you get eliminated first up, right?
Well, it depends on the competition. At Olympics and Worlds, definitely. Otherwise, you very much get eliminated very early on.
There's one element of the sport that you might be eliminated rather quickly, but it's sport number 2 in the list. How does that work from a competition perspective?
So most of the format nowadays is that you do all the first 3 sports and get points for each of them, add those points up, and you will go through the laser run. The problem is if you're low score in any of those events, you might be starting a minute and a half behind someone else, which is a long way behind in a 3K race.
Your minute and a half, especially when you're saying 9 minutes for 3Ks.
Yes, exactly.
So that's like only like 3 minutes a kilometre.
3 minutes per
That's
kilometre.
like,
Yeah, I'm currently still at about like 3:10, so I've still got a long way to go, but getting there.
yeah, to put that in perspective, if you were to look on your bus timetable and that says, you need to go to this bus stop and it's a kilometre walk, they'll give you 12 minutes to do that. So you're going like, it's a lot faster. What's Kipchoge doing with his marathon times? He's around the 2-minute 40, is he?
Yeah, he's still at sort of 2:40s, occasionally as slow as like 2:50s. I say slow, that was like the Sydney Marathon, which has hills and stuff.
Yeah, so that's elite athletes at the very top of their game, and they're running around the 2-minute 40 mark, and you're trying to run at 3-minute mark, including taking the shots.
No, not including taking the shots, so it would be closer to like 9:30, 10 minutes, including taking the shots.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully at 9:30, so that's sort of like 5 seconds per round at a maximum 6 seconds per round.
But it's still an elite athlete speed of running.
Yeah, on the edge of, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive how that comes together.
Yeah, and again, takes a lot of work. Like, I'm not aiming to be the same as like the national team, but I should be at a level of fitness that I could make the state squad in every sport is like what you should be able to achieve, which currently good enough for running. Still got a long way to go for the swimming and yeah, building up on the other ones.
Oh, swimming's quite a difficult one to do. You have to be physically strong in the upper body, don't you, with swimming? And you've got to have your breathing right. You've got to have your technique right. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's more than breathing and technique for me. I've built up my strength in the last couple of years. In particular, I've been really improving quite quickly with that. My technique, I just really need to focus on now to really get the efficiency through the water, because there's no point just thrashing at the water strongly unless you're actually pulling through the water and moving fast.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that if you watch the Olympics or the swimming championships, particularly the men's freestyle at like 50, 100 metres, and you just see the waveforms that the guys are pushing in the pool, and you see that they're almost surfing down the pool. So that takes quite a lot of effort.
Absolutely, yeah. Getting that gliding, getting yourself actually sitting, balanced even through the water, getting your hips up, and having that streamlined so that you can be efficient is very much, takes a lot of work, a lot of core strength, a lot of coordination to really get right. And I'm getting there, but I'm got to get it consistent, got to get it fast.
And coaching wise?
There's not really any pentathlon coaches that I've been working with in Australia, because it's kind of a very small sport over here. It's not like Europe, and I haven't had the justification to really go over to Europe yet. But I've been working individually with Canning Athletics Club. I've been really good with coaching, keeping sets there, and really working on technique there. Swimming, I've just sort of joined a club in Riverton here, so getting to know them. So got to start meet the coaches recently, and they seem like fun. So hopefully we can get a good working relationship. I've only been in Perth for a couple of months, so I'm just still getting my bearings here. But the shooting and stuff and laser run training is pretty much all self-coached. Fencing, there's an amazing fencing community here. Really good quality coaches from all over Europe and Australian Olympians and world champions. So it's really exciting over here to be fencing.
That's here in Perth?
That's here in Perth. We've got a really good fencing little community. It's small, but it's all compact into a great little spot. So if you want to fence, it's actually not a bad place to do it.
Oh, excellent. That's great. Great to hear.
Yeah. I mean, it's just all of Australia. It's just full of random cool people who've done amazing things. So it makes it really easy to find someone who's willing to help out and willing to help you be your best.
Is there anything else that you might want to say about what it takes or the sport itself?
I mean, it's just a really fun sport. It's just a whole lot of different skills to sort of push you to be a well-rounded athlete. That's like the philosophy behind it, and it's what I really enjoy about it. Pretty much if you're willing to just constantly push yourself, train that little bit harder to try every different thing to make sure you're super well-rounded and willing to just try every sport, it's just the best sport to do. I've always loved running, loved swimming, loved being in the ocean, but never sort of been the super, I want to train 7 days a week doing the exact same thing, or doing like 9 sessions of swimming a week. That's not me. But doing 5 sessions a week just to push myself to be that better and in every different sport, and then mixing it up with another 5 sessions of running, and that's what I love. That's just constant variety, and that's what makes this sport awesome.
We've heard what it takes, Amos, to be a pentathlete. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at what it means. We've had a look at what it takes, Amos, to be a pentathlete. Now, let's have a look at what it means. Amos, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you're able to be a pentathlete?
Well, that's a difficult question. I mean, to me, it just means that I can sort of showcase that I have the skills to be well-rounded. It means that I can be a part of all different communities, exploring different skill sets, trying, to be part of everything. That's what I like to do, is just be involved in everything, be exploring everything. And so that's, as a pentathlete, that's what I really love most about it, is just that I can explore all these different avenues, meet all these different people, and train to, be the strongest I can be and compete, showcase that against others.
There's an interesting element there that you're often up against people that are specialising in particular sports, but you have to be virtually as good as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I really love. I've got a fencing, one of the national circuit competitions in a couple of weeks, and I'm by no means a good fencer, but I love that competition, knowing that there's that many people better than me in that one sport, and I can keep pushing myself to get a little bit better each time. And so, I had my best result in a while in Queensland last month, and I'm excited to hopefully do a little bit better in Perth in a couple of weeks.
And what about for your family? How does it impact there?
My family, I think, are just as crazy as me, in the sense that they're not athletes necessarily, but they love just being a part of the community and in doing a variety of things. And so through my addiction to pentathlon, my mother's ended up running this sort of Victorian Federation. So even though I haven't lived in Victoria in 6 years, she's still organising events there and helping people become part of the sport. My father's been running the National Equipment Registry and loaning out equipment for people to try out pentathlon and all kinds of things. So they've just been awesomely supportive in that they're, I've gone out and explored the world and done all kinds of things in all kinds of states, and they're just constantly there supporting. And every time I've run events in New South Wales when I was living there for a while, and they would just come over and say, hey, I've got friends over there. So they'd come over, say hi to their friends for a couple of days, help me run the competition, and then fly themselves back. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, it is a little bit crazy, but it's also amazing that they're getting heaps out of it just like you are.
Absolutely. And again, it's just the sporting community in Australia in general, but especially in pentathlon and at sub-sports, is just an awesome, tight-knit community of everyone willing to help each other and be part of a true community of friends and family. And you can just go and say hi to them everywhere. There's so many times where I've been in a different city and I've been going to book a hotel, and then my friends go, no, just stay with us. And or even people I've barely met who they've come to 2 events with me, and they say, no, come to our place and come have dinner with us. And it's just awesome community that are just awesome to be a part of.
Absolutely. And you're already getting into what it means for the community, because they're getting connection as well, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there any more that the community gets from being pentathletes?
I mean, the community obviously gets, it's a fun little, learning to be well-rounded people, learning to have all these different skills. Fencing is very obviously a mix of your strategy and your fitness as well, very much anaerobic, fast-paced, but also strategizing to use your energy effectively. And then from the practical side, you learn all these mechanical skills to actually maintain your equipment and all that sort of stuff. There's lots that I've learned just from fencing of, how to actually use electronics and how electric currents work, because it's just a useful skill to learn. And then same rise with the laser pistols, learning, how do you logically relate distances and angles? And it's actually, you have to actually think about the physics of it, not so much for shooting, but to figure out, how do I optimize my sights? How do I make my shooting more efficient? All these little things. So it's definitely a good little way to try and do different things.
I watched a little video about JCAR as an organisation, and they focused particularly on the enthusiasts who wanted to do stuff in that electronic field, make their own things, their own buzzers and all that sort of stuff. And sounds a little bit like there's an element of that in the equipment side of things, at least for the shooting element.
And the fencing, yeah, absolutely. And so if anyone wants to get into that, we're always looking, because obviously most of the equipment we're importing from Europe. So if anyone wants to tinker with making these systems in Australia, we're more than excited for that. And I, as a computer science student, I like to develop different apps and scoring software, rather than, I've seen a lot of competition people would manually look up these tables of hundreds and hundreds of numbers and convert those times to scores. Whereas now I've made different pieces of software for organisers to use to calculate scores more efficiently. So that's always the good thing to do. Just another side of things, there's a lot of maths behind it, but you can simplify it for the users.
That's a great contribution that you make to the pentathlon community. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Putting your skills, work with your strengths.
Exactly. And, I don't have any super strong strengths, but I've got lots of little ones that all come together to be helpful.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's the whole aim of pentathlon, is to do that.
Exactly. That's all it is about, is best being the most well-rounded athlete, most well-rounded person you can be.
We've heard quite a bit about what it means that Amos is able to be a pentathlete. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at how you do it. We've heard what it means that Amos is able to be a pentathlete. Now, let's have a look at how you do it. Amos, if somebody wanted to become a pentathlete, how would they go about it?
Well, the most common way is pretty much pick up one sport at a time. So, for example, pretty much choose a sport you already do or enjoy. You've got that under your belt, done. You're 1/5 of the way there. Then from there, you pick up a second one that sounded interesting. So a lot of people will have come traditionally from a pony club background. They'll be, pony club riders that do athletics as well. And so they picked it up from that way, doing the pony club pentathlon. Nowadays, it's more from the obstacle or the fencing. So you've, got the skills of that. And then you'll pick up, say, the laser run. So if you wanted to do that, you just join your local running club. There's not many pentathlon clubs in Australia unless you're in like Coffs Harbour or Geelong or Melbourne. So a lot of the time it is just train each 5 sports individually. And the strategy is pretty much start with 1 sport, add to 2, add to 3, add to 4, keep building it up. And there's pathways designed for that. So we have laser run as just a standalone sport, which is just the run and shoot. So if you're a runner, you can pick that up right away pretty much. There's lots of little clubs, in Brisbane, Melbourne, Coffs Harbour, that have equipment. They can teach you how to do it and some good coaches. So you start there and just do laser run competitions. When you've got that under your belt, add the swimming in. And then you can do a triathlon is what they call it, which is, again, that run, shoot, and then a 200-meter swim in the middle of it. And then from there, you've got those 3 under your belt. Awesome. You can then add a tetrathlon, which is when you've add the fencing in. Again, you join a fencing club. There's lots of them around. Or in every city in Australia, we've got tons of awesome little fencing communities. And then from there, you've got 4 out of the 5. Pick up your obstacle course racing, and you can do that. And again, you can do that in any order. You can pick up the obstacles before the fencing. If you come from a fencing background, you start doing more running. And all these sports help each other as well. You don't have to have 5 sessions of each sport and do 25 sessions a week. That's physically not possible. You start with, okay, I'm really good at running. I've got my 5 sessions a week there. Now I've got the fitness for fencing, so I just need to do 3 fencing sessions. And I've got my fitness, but I need to get my swimming technique. So I'll dial back my running, do like 2 sessions of running and do 5 sessions of swimming. So you just balance it all to keep yourself sane and keep yourself experimenting with new skills and learning new skills.
And is there a national organisation or a state level organisation that people could get in contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Modern Pentathlon Australia as the national body. They currently actually doing a lot of investment in preparation for Brisbane Olympics. We obviously want to have a strong cohort here because we have our quota spot as the host country, and we'll have probably the Oceania spot as well. So potentially 2 athletes from Australia in both male and female could be competing. So we want to see that those athletes are really good at the sport. So that's why we're recruiting now. So they will be able to, they're running schools programs. They've just started getting the plans for that in motion. And then they've got training programs up there, different resources. And overall they just do the main organising bodies. Then under each state, we've got Modern Pentathlon Western Australia, Modern Pentathlon Victoria, Modern Pentathlon New South Wales, and starting Modern Pentathlon Queensland. And all of them have different levels of clubs, what we call hubs in Melbourne in particular. They're all over Victoria. In Western Australia, I'm just starting different clubs now. So I'm mainly going to start in Perth. So if you want to join me in Perth, search up Modern Pentathlon Western Australia and get in touch with me, and we'll make some training happen. Because I want people to train with. I want to see more people doing this sport because it's a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun to have lots of people to train with.
And we've been seeing you all over the southwest of WA at least. So, we've seen that you've been getting to park runs, and certainly having your running and shooting facility out and about has made the sport much more visible.
Yes, and I love just being out and about in general, and if people see the sport, that's cool as well. That makes it, more people asking about it, knowing it in the public conscience. And I was up to Geraldton on Wednesday for catching up with a friend and did some shooting up there and chatted to some people. I'm mainly based in Perth, so I do most of my training there, and that's where I'll be operating from, but always room to expand. And again, if schools want to get into it, I'm keen on sourcing equipment and stuff. We've again got, as a national body, got lots of government support to hopefully build a good team for LA and then Brisbane Olympics. So if we can show that we've got people interested, we will be glad to make it happen for you, make it as easy to get into the sport as possible.
Righto, so all you teachers out there, make sure that you get in touch.
Absolutely, yes. Especially in schools, we'd love to see some in-school programs, because think about all the skill acquisition, all the motor skills that are required, especially for the shooting the laser run. And who doesn't want to try and shoot a laser? Everyone plays Fortnite nowadays, so it's a great little sport for especially high school students to get active, but also strategize, and it can tie into the curriculum really well. And as after-school activity, again, a lot of fun. So we'd love to see more people trying it.
And what's next for you, Amos?
So coming up at the end of the year, I've got World Championships in South Africa for the laser run, which is just the run and shoot, for the biathlon, which is just the run and swim, and the triathlon, which is the run, shoot and swim. So all three of those events. I think there might be some relays. I don't actually know if I've been selected for the relay team until we're over there and we get our times and see how we go. But at least for the individual events, I'll be trying to win over there. I'm still getting there, so at the moment I'm probably middle of the pack, but we'll see if I can get on the podium like I did in Bali a few years ago.
Well, that's really exciting to hear, Amos, and all Forest.chat listeners wish you the best with your future endeavours.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see some of you trying pentathlon.
That'd be fantastic. You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we've been talking with Amos Vagg about pentathlon. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain Forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. You'll get advance notice of episodes. Listen to the episodes at forest.chat/episodes. If you do something interesting, or other people might find interesting, book an interview at forest.chat/interview. If you want to support a small business, book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next guest. Until then, enjoy making it happen.